Chairman, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you being here and your willingness to serve in the capacities for which you've been nominated. Two of the four of you, we've had conversations on numerous occasions in this setting and elsewhere. And it would not surprise you that I'm going to ask Mr. Sabat the same thing that I asked the two of you and others. I have had a long time interest in making certain that long-distance Amtrak service is a priority of the board. We've worked to change the legislation that creates the purpose for which Amtrak exists, to make clear or to make clearer the value of long-distance Amtrak service. And without exception, Mr. Sabat, the individuals that I voted for, which has generally been every nominee, has made a commitment to me and to this committee, to Congress, that they will be a supporter of long-distance passenger service. I would be interested in hearing you frame in the words that you use what that means to you.
Senator, first, thank you for the question, and far be it from me to be the first witness before you to break that tradition of committing.
Well, I always worry they're just saying it because I'm asking it. But to date, it seems to me that the nominees that we've had these conversations with have actually meant it.
Yeah, as do I, and to drive home that point, if I may, Chairman Kosha, in answer to a previous question, referenced back in 2019 when Amtrak was in fact on track for the, pardon the rail pun, was on target to meet its, for the first ever period of time to be, to operate in the black for the year. And then COVID hit and we were unable to do so. That was when I was representing the department on the board of directors. During that same period of time, I think it was around October, the Inspector General issued a report. And the Inspector General's report drove home the importance of the national network, the long-distance trains, and said, in order for Amtrak to be consistently profitable in the future, what was required was more frequent, on-time, a long-distance network. I believed that when the Inspector General's report came out in 2019. I believe that today, and if confirmed to the Board of Directors, that would be one of the torches that I would carry on the board, is for an improved national network in long-distance service.
As I believed your two colleagues previously, I believe you. You and I know each other. I think the last time we may have been together was in Farnborough, dealing with airports and airplanes and aviation and aerospace. And I wish you well. I too share the same problem that Senator Tester outlined in his commentary to you. I would guess that both of us are speaking to the Biden administration, not to you specifically. But the law has been changed in 2021 to ensure that there is a geographically diverse and non-dominated board, a board not dominated by the the Northeast corridor. And at least 4 of the 8 Amtrak board members appointed by the President shall, quote, reside in or near the regions of the United States that are geographically distributed outside the Northeast corridor. Under federal law, the Northeast corridor means Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. And that's not the case with the administration's nominees. And I used this opportunity to reiterate to the administration a letter that 7 senators, later joined by Senator Tester in his own letter, in our case to the President, outlining the insistence that those provisions be complied with. And so I hope that you will help me get the attention of, I don't know who wants to flip a coin. I'm sorry you come from New Jersey, Mr. Kosha, but we need to figure out how this law can be complied with. And it is important to me that legislation passed on behalf of the American people is complied with by an executive branch. So there's a philosophical issue here, and there's a practical issue here as I try to make certain that the Southwest Chief and the potential Heartland, increasing role of the Heartland Flyer is protected. Mr. Kosha, anything you'd like to add?
Only to say, Senator, that I totally understand and recognize your very appropriate concerns about that issue. Board nominations are, as you know, way above my pay grade, but I will tell you, as a humble resident of the great state of New Jersey, that I completely understand, probably better than most people would, just how important the national system is and what it means to so many people. And I am committed, notwithstanding me, my wife, and my 5 children all being New Jerseyans, but still having that same sense.
We can find you a home in Kansas if you're interested in serving on the Amtrak board.
There are days that would actually be very well.
I understand.
I understand.
And I suppose, based upon Senator Tester's question, I should ask, have you ever ridden the Southwest Chief?
I have.
That was my expectation.
I have, yes.
And Mr. Kos and Mr. Kosha, you have demonstrated your commitment to what to living up to your commitment that you made to me, and I'm grateful for that. And Mr. Savad, I thank you for what you said. This issue became prominent for me when visiting with a previous CEO of Amtrak. The solution to Amtrak's problems on the Southwest Chief was to provide bus service between Kansas and New Mexico, and it occurred to me that there's a philosophy here that is contrary to what I think to replace bus service, to replace train service, to replace passenger service with a bus between destinations along Amtrak is not a satisfactory solution from my perspective, and it's caused me to make certain that we have a different attitude and approach toward those long-distance routes. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.